Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode 65. Back end of the season now, complete business end. I'm Tony, and with me, as usual, is Ben.
How you doing, mate? You
All
all
right,
right?
mate. And James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony.
The three amigos. See, it's getting a bit tight now, isn't it? Transfers, obviously, we know we've only got 10 left for the season, or had 10 left for the season in some cases. Really is getting a bit tense. Obviously, not wanting to spend them and all this stuff. Let's jump straight into the teams, James, and let's see what's going on with your podcast team this month so far, mate.
Cool. Well, I'm pleased we're talking about my podcast team and not my other teams because I made some potentially rash transfers, although we'll see how that pans out. Dropping Mason Mount and a few teams. Anyway, moving on. 52 points this week for the podcast team. 8 from Mendy, 5 from James, 4 from Cancelo, 4 from Trent. Bilver, 4 points. KDB, 8 points. Diaz, 0. Sterling, 0. The Snake. I'm so glad he missed. Kane, 6 points. Salah, 5 points. And Jota, 8. So not a bad week for the podcast team. Much better than my other teams.
Yeah, it's
That's for
decent.
sure.
Decent. I'm sure you're going to talk us through the Mason Mount move later on.
No, I'd rather not talk about it. Well, it might turn out to be a master stroke.
We're only 50% through the week.
If Chelsea go out of the Champions League
Yeah, there is that in there.
midweek.
It's there's a way to go in there.
Yeah.
How's your? Sorry,
Go on, Ben.
I was going to say, how's your best team doing, James?
Don't ask that question. Oh dear. It's just slipped out of the top 100. I've spat 102nd, which is a bit disappointing. I think that team got 24 points. I shipped. If you worked out how many points I shipped out this week with removing Mount, Rudiger, and Mendy, and then work out how many points I got from the guys I brought in, it's a little bit depressing. But
you've got to look at the teams they played this weekend, haven't they? Like Liverpool's played Man City. And Chelsea have played Southampton. So it's that's what's reflecting the points, really.
yeah, exactly. So that if I'd have waited to make those moves, it would have cost me. If I'd have done them on Friday instead of Thursday, it would have cost me 1.4 million difference. And I couldn't afford to be priced out of those players that I thought had a better chance of more games longer term throughout the season. So that was the decision I made. It won't really know whether that was the right call until the midweek games and after, really.
Definitely.
But we'll see.
I mean, sometimes you make moves that come and bite you in the arse, and obviously in that particular team, with being so high up, like in the top 50, obviously that team hasn't had many moves that have come and bit you in the arse, and obviously this is just one of them. But we're still only 50% through the week, and also after at the back end of that, as you mentioned, Chelsea might go out the Champions League. Your Liverpool and your Liverpool and City players, you would expect possibly will go through in the Champions League. So they've got 2 more games on them Chelsea lot. So it's not all doom and gloom. Like there's positive spins to put on that.
Yeah, I spent a hell of a long time agonising over whether to do those moves, like 3 or 4 days leading up to Thursday night. And normally I'm Mr. Patient, and I don't, I have transfers left at the end of the month. I haven't made any transfers in my podcast team, interestingly. Still got 5 left in that. But we'll see how that pans out.
I think I stole your patience this week, because I hadn't made any up until today, up until the City game. Obviously, I made a few today with the lineups and stuff. But other than that, I was sat with 5 in many of my teams. I think there's probably a couple where I brought in Bowen last week. But yeah.
I see you've had a new haircut, Tony. Is that because your son Mount got his locks chopped off?
Oh, well, yeah, his were getting quite long, weren't it? I had a word with him, and he said he'd cut his if I cut mine. But I grow my hair for 3.5 years, and I've just had it spread all across my living room floor by barber. Yeah, quite an emotional evening for me, watching City game whilst getting my hair chopped off. But yeah, it's more manageable now. More manageable. You know what I mean? Streamlined. Yeah, all good. Over to my team, my podcast team. 2 transfers I've made. Coutinho out before the Villa game, before they got an absolute hammering. Bernardo Silva in, budget wise, that's what I could afford. And Chalobah, who didn't get on the pitch again, 2 games running, a bit of a surprise. And I brought in Walker. I just thought, if I've got to go for somebody in this Liverpool City, this team, I already had Edison and Cancelo. I thought triple up with Walker. You never know. It could have been a tight affair today. I didn't know which way we were going to go. Or both good teams going to go for it, which is what I hoped, because obviously that's great for the neutral. Which it turned out a very good game of football, as these games usually do. Actually, I don't think there's been one, as in with City and Liverpool, where they've just both tried to sit back, or
No.
I think they just go for it, which is
Historically, there's been lots of goals in these games. Do you know what? I nearly put money on both sides to score both halves. I wouldn't have paid off, but I thought there might be some goals, and certainly both going for it.
yeah, definitely. Which did bode well for my team, really. Edison -1, Walker -1. The Chelsea duo of Rudiger and Silva got me 8 apiece. It's just a shame Chalobah didn't get on the pitch to sneak 5 like Reece James did. Cancelo 4 points, De Bruyne 8 points, Bernardo Silva 4 points. Happy enough with that return from the City players. Diaz came on, but it didn't manage to get any points. Salah 5, Harry Kane 6. Late yellow card, losing a point there. And Havertz, I've not looked into this, but I'm hoping it was just a precaution, or it was just saving him for the Champions League in midweek. 8 points. He come off at half time or just after half time.
Yeah, it's just been rested, I think.
Yeah, I think obviously he knows the importance, and when they go to Madrid, that they need to pull something out of the bag there. So Havertz obviously the main man. Lukaku wasn't even on the bench, was he? Or injured? But
Yeah.
That's what's going on with Lukaku back there. But yeah, so 2 transfers made. Happy enough with it. All my players, other than Kane, I've got the double this week. So yeah, halfway there. 49 points. Not too bad. Over to you, Ben.
Yeah, 64 points this week. 2,209 points. That's got me up to 268th overall now. Mendy in goal, 8 points. Rudiger, 8 points. Robertson, -2. Cancelo, 4. I brought Trent in today with Mahrez. I've got Mahrez in my midfield, and he hasn't started 2 out of the last 3. So, and I thought I need Trent back in my team because he's one of the best players. And till the end of over the season, I think Trent will play more games and probably score more points than Mahrez. So I've brought him back in. He got an assist today, 4 points. Mount, 15 points. Robbed of the star man.
Werner. My mate Timo.
Yeah, Turbo Timo. He hit the post. Timo Werner hit the post, both posts. He hit the crossbar. He missed the 1-on-1. He could have had about 7 goals.
Yeah,
absolutely
filled his boots.
He probably deserved the man of the match, really. De Bruyne, 8 points. Sterling, nil points. Salah, 5 points. Kane, 6. And Jota, 8. Yeah.
Nice total.
Yeah, good score. Happy with
Very
that.
good score. Very, very good score.
Kept me Chelsea, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably the biggest decision of this weekend, that.
Yeah, it was.
Because,
I debated it all week, all Thursday night, and I
yeah,
I only did one transfer in all 10 teams. So
yeah.
yeah,
It was a tricky one because I wouldn't even say taking out Chelsea was knee jerk. I don't think it was knee jerk because of it was two bad results,
yeah,
7 goals shit, and then you're looking at it thinking, like I say, values going down, and then
yeah.
if you take the punt on keeping them hold of them, as James said, if you'd have took the punt at keeping hold of them,
Mm,
then when it got to if they'd have conceded against Southampton,
yeah.
and then obviously get a bit, I don't know, another pumping against Madrid, then the week after, I mean, who are you replacing them with?
I know. Yeah,
Because the values, I mean, they just you wouldn't have the value in the players then to go anywhere.
That was
yeah,
part of my thinking, really. And
Yeah,
don't forget that it would seem that when it comes to price rises, it doesn't matter what they do in the first game.
yeah,
They seem to base the price changes on the second game. And I
yeah,
thought, well, after the way that Real performed against Chelsea in the first half with Benzema absolutely smashing it, amazing player.
yeah.
Going to the Bernabeu, are they going to keep a clean sheet there? They're going to have to go for it, which will, in theory, make them open. I'd be surprised if Madrid don't score, and therefore I was thinking I can't take 2 hits because
Yeah.
I'll be looking at Leicester players, Ben, for my defence. And,
yeah. Bargain bucket.
Don't get me started on Leicester.
They got robbed of a clean sheet today.
He
Dodgy
wants to play
penalty.
play the right players.
Eh?
Where's Barnes? Where's Iheanacho? Wrecking my FPL team.
I told you, didn't I? I told you to rotate.
Yeah, rotation. Frustrating that. But that Chelsea one. Obviously, we've got a few. Usually this week we'll be podding on the Monday night. We've had a few work commitments that have come up, and obviously that's why we're podding on the Sunday. So you're going to get this pod a little bit earlier this week. But obviously the downside of that is that we couldn't put out for the questions and have too much planning to do. So what we decided to do is do something a little bit different this week, and we're going to have a run through all the games, the matches of interest, really, and maybe a special mention for the Burnley match a little bit later on. But just the big matches that really do affect the dream team outcomes and stuff. We're gonna have a run through those. We're gonna go through the games in a little bit more depth for you, and hopefully it answers a lot of your questions because we'll just discuss a lot of the players and other stuff. We'll have a few questions that were dropped on the Patreon early on in the week, and we'll fire through them. But yeah, due to work commitments, obviously, this is just the way it's going to run. So we'll see how it goes. So first match of interest, obviously, which was the big game, James, and I think you were probably praying for a Southampton goal, just to vindicate those moves, if
well, I
anything
was,
else.
yeah. The only thing I managed to get with a small crumb of comfort was that Mason Mount didn't get star man,
Yeah,
even though they both him and Werner finished on 10 out of 10.
yeah.
I was thinking, Tony, maybe it is Timo time. Four shots on target this week.
I
He did
mean,
look a different player, didn't he? He looked
He
really
did look
good.
good, mind you. Southampton, they've got a habit of just every now and again completely capitulating
yeah,
against a side randomly. They did it. Was it Leicester last year? They did it against. Was it
Yeah,
the year
before
before?
Leicester, last year, Man United.
Yeah. So it's all of a sudden, it's just like going, "Come on, then, just score."
yeah. I don't get it.
It's a bizarre game. The keeper parried so many shots, and
Yeah.
then they just tapping them in. Yeah, crazy.
I think Werner, obviously, confidence player. And I think early doors he had a bit of success, and I think once he smelt that he could get the beating of the fullback and the centre half. I think that then just played into his hands. I think then all of a sudden like I say, he was man possessed. He could have scored so many goals. I just think someone needed to nail him. They need to nail him early doors because he is a confidence player. Werner, he's very what would you say? He's quite soft. He's quite soft. He's not somebody who's going to put his foot in. I think he needs a bit of a kick early doors, Werner.
Yeah.
And if I were a Southampton manager, I'd been sending him out for it. Just give him a kick.
At one point, he virtually ran the length of the field and then had a lovely angled finish. Did you see that goal?
Yeah. Cracking
Yeah,
Very
goal.
nice.
probably.
Did you see the second goal was like a goal that he usually doesn't? He usually misses the chance and it falls to somebody else. Like for Havertz's goal, he just fell to him, didn't he? He hit the post, and Havertz just got the tap in, and he was looking around, going, "Oh,
Yeah.
for God's sake!" But he did get the look at the end for his second goal, didn't he? Because it fell to him lovely, just to tap
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
About time he had a bit of luck.
he has a bit of hard luck.
He could have
Werner.
he could have had 6 in that game easy though, couldn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
Which
see
is-
that? Sorry.
Which is what probably puts you off a little bit. Yeah, he only got 2.
Did you see that his record against Southampton? He's got 5 goals in 4 games, Werner, in the Premier League. But he's
Yes.
only got 4 goals in the rest of the games, in 47 games,
Wow,
Yeah,
against everyone else.
I saw that stat. Yeah.
that's
crazy.
brilliant. That's brilliant. It's obviously just likes playing against them.
Can we play you every week?
Yeah, one of them players. What about Alonso? Back with a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuck with him. I thought he was first name to be dropped, possibly after the last 2 performances, but yeah, stuck with him, didn't he?
Lovely assist from Mount. I mean, Mount. I'll be honest. Mount had a hell of a game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Couple of assists. Fantastic, really. Yeah.
It seemed to be like he's stuck with the team, like they're all up like a wounded animal, you know?
Yeah,
Let them go out there and just play.
it's true.
Yeah. I'll tell you who was good at right wing back as well, Loftus-Cheek. He looked really good there.
Interesting move that.
Yeah.
Reece James obviously having his minutes managed at the moment, prioritising the game against Real. Well, they clearly didn't actually need him yesterday, but yeah, that's the second. That's 2 weeks in a row now he hasn't played in the Premier League, or started in the Premier League.
Yeah, they brought him on for a nice 5 points, though.
Yeah, we like that. We like that.
Yeah, in any other format, you wouldn't touch him, would you? Well, you'd be reticent, but in Dream
Yeah.
Team, obviously, he only has to come on for 2 seconds, and if they get a clean sheet, he picks up those points.
Although they did bring him on for a -3 the other week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, strings and roundabouts.
Very unlikely that happens though, isn't it?
Yeah, usually. I was thinking, why is he not bringing Chalobah on? Get Chalobah on. Yeah, Christensen, obviously, he's played, I think, the last 3. I just don't, unless Chalobah he's had COVID, as suspected when he weren't in the squad, and he's not quite up to fitness, but Christensen's signed a pre-contract with Barcelona, is it that we said on the pod?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he has done. Yeah, there's rumours of it anyway.
It's not been confirmed, but it's been
It's not
like,
confirmed, is it?
Yeah, but it's like big rumour that.
One of them, unless they're trying to give him game time and say, look, stay.
Yeah.
Because they put a lot, obviously, he's come through, I know, he's come through the Chelsea youth side, hasn't he? Signed at like 18-year-old or 17-year-old, so the one they probably want to keep, especially if they're looking to lose Rudiger, because that doesn't seem to have been cleared up either, does it?
No, just looking like he's going.
Yeah.
At least Aspilicueta was out of contract, but apparently he's got a clause in there that allows it to be extended for an extra year.
Oh, they're all right there then.
He's staying now, which is, I thought it was odd that they were letting their captain go because he's still a decent player.
Yeah, big player still a big player.
He was linked with Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that obviously it's Spanish links and
Mm.
going back there with the sun shines. I mean, look at the Southampton team there. Bednarek -6, with Morento -5, Salisu. Did Connor? Did you still have Forster in your net -5?
No, I think he got Mendy in, didn't he, last
Did you?
week?
Yeah, good lad, good lad. Uh, yeah, you wouldn't want to suck that one up. But yeah, Chelsea very dominant. I say Southampton like to throw a big capitulation in there somewhere during the season, don't they? And this was them. Nice bounce back game for Chelsea. Great confidence booster going into the Real Madrid game midweek. Do you know? I think they could do it. They could do it. I fancy a 2-0 Chelsea and take it to extra time. I don't know why. I don't know
I
why.
don't. I wouldn't be surprised, mate.
That's a massive confidence booster. That they've got a good side, and let's see what happens. Apparently, I didn't see the game because I were on the late shift at work. Apparently, a cracking game of football, end to end.
Yeah, Chelsea were very shaky at the back. Real just ripped them apart basically.
Yeah,
But it looks like they've gone back to basics and sorted that out. Certainly, well against Southampton.
yeah. It's a different kettle of fish in it against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, but let's see how it goes. See how it goes. Anything else stand out for you there, guys? Stats wise,
Werner 8 shots, 4 on target. That's pretty high for a single game.
yeah, massive, massive.
Uh,
Havertz
go on,
got 8 goals in 11 games now.
has he?
Back to his goal scoring best from Germany there.
That's good.
That's what they brought him in. That's why they paid the big money for him. Goals and assists. He was an absolute machine in Germany. So it looks like that. He's done all right there, Tuchel. I think. Obviously, Lukaku weren't performing, were he? And he seems to have got Havertz up to speed. So it's good for Chelsea. Right, over to another bit of a demolition job. Aston Villa and Spurs. Spurs have just been absolutely on fire. I don't know. It seems Kulusevski has come into that front three. It seems to have coincided with that. I'm not 100% sure. But it seems to have coincided with Kulusevski coming into that front three, and they just can't. They can't stop scoring goals. They look dangerous every time they go forward. What do you make of that game, Ben?
Yeah, a fantastic result. That they've had some cracking scores in the since the Man City game. They're scoring loads of goals. Like they've beaten Leeds 4-0, Tottenham are beating Everton 5-0, West Ham 3-1, Newcastle 5-1, and obviously 4-0 this weekend against
Yeah.
Villa. Apparently Villa should have had a few goals in the first half.
3 or 4. I mean,
Yeah.
they were very unlucky. They were all over Spurs first half.
Yeah.
Apart from the goal in the first 3 minutes, it was all Villa. All Villa.
Lloris had an absolute blinder. Did you see some of the saves he made?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Makes up for some of the shaky performances he's had in the last few games. But he looked amazing yesterday in that game.
He did. He carried them. He kept him in it, to be fair. It could have been a completely different game. We're talking about a 4-0 Spurs win and a bit of a demolition job, but it could have been so different. They looked pretty decent, Villa, first half, they're all over them. And then second half, within 5 minutes, they've conceded again. So frustrating that as a footy fan. And then, to be fair, from there on, Spurs are pretty good.
They were clinical, weren't they? Sonny scored from three shots on target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Spurs XG for the whole game was 0.84.
That's
So
crazy.
they massively outperformed their expected goals. But Kane was just playing as quarterback, wasn't he? He had a couple of flick-on assists for Kulusevski and Son, and then only gets a 6-point return himself after being booked in the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying.
He got
Yeah.
3 assists in FPL, didn't he? For that first goal, he got an assist in FPL,
Yeah.
but not in Dream Team.
Yeah. Yeah, in this game, yeah, definitely not an assist in this game.
Nah,
it's
well,
definitely not an assist, to be fair.
it's not an assist. They give everything. They give anything for an assist in FPL.
Yeah,
They had that debate last week, didn't they? With Rafinha.
yeah. It's
But
definitely not an assist, but
he just slashed at it, didn't he? And it was
Mm.
going well wide, and then it deflected, and Sonny drilled it into the corner off the post.
yeah.
Yeah. And Villa's got 1.52 xG as well. Like compared to Spurs, he's a 0.84. So it just shows that they should have had a few. Yeah.
Oh,
Did
yeah, unreal.
Did you notice the first 3 goals for Spurs were all long balls? The long ball team now.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's the way they play, isn't it? Counter attack.
Poof.
but when you got them 3 up top, Kane is unreal. Kane just wished we touched on this before. Kane just wishes he was playing with Kane. Do you know, honestly,
We all
right?
dream of a team of Harry
Yeah,
Kanes.
honestly, he's unreal. He is. He's so good in that position. It's just a shame you haven't got him on the other end of him, on the other end of him as well. He's so good. The passing, the vision is unreal on a centre forward who's as good at finishing as he is, because he's a proper goal scorer as well. His vision and passing is just out of this world. It's so good to watch. When they're on form, I do enjoy watching Harry Kane on tip top form. I don't get me wrong, I've slagged him off quite a few times for England when he's not quite looked at it, because usually he's so jaded by the end of it, carrying Spurs all season. He's usually knackered for tournaments, but yeah, top draw player. We're obviously going to come into a Kane versus Son debate at some point later on, so we'll probably save a little bit of that for later. Other than them two, obviously Kulusevski doing his business as a cheapo in midfield, and he's hit the ground running in Premier League. He's loving it. What do you think? What do you think of him, James?
Oh, he looks amazing. Top quality player. Massive upgrade on Moira, who was playing in the front three. Yeah, he's got pace. He's scored he's had a few goals, few assists. Yeah, I really rate him, and he's still pretty cheap in Dream Team. So, shame. It's just a shame Spurs don't have the volume of fixtures. But if they carry on scoring this many goals and he's involved, then he could still rack up some points for a very, fairly cheap price in Dream Team. And he was 2 million something. He has gone up since that. I think he's probably about 2.6, 2.7 now, but still cheap.
Very cheap option.
2.8, I think he is. Yeah, 2.8. Yeah.
What about that tackle on Doherty? Did you see that? Absolutely clattered him.
Yeah.
Oh, so annoying. I only brought him into my FPL side this week.
He tried about 3 times, didn't he? He tried to carry on.
Yeah.
They just kept bringing Medic on.
They threw some painkillers down his throat and said, "Get on with it."
Yeah.
But it was honestly, it was a absolute clattering. Didn't even get a yellow card for it.
There's some. I tell you what, for first 25 minutes, there was some massive challenges going on that pitch. Some big tackles. Surprised, yeah, he didn't try to rein that in, the ref, but it was just committed. Committed was probably the word. It was good to see. Good to see some big challenges going.
That's typical Steven Gerrard, eh? Them sort of tackles.
Yeah, they were brilliant.
Get fucking stuck in, lad.
that's Ben's clapping impression coming out again.
That wasn't too bad.
Anyway, a clean sheet for Spurs. Obviously,
Yeah.
8 rating for 8.5 rating for Lloris. Obviously, did his bit. He was on Star Man at some point. Eric Dyer. Some cheap options there at back for them, aren't there? But yeah, I mean, to be fair, they should have conceded 3 or 4. Clarice kept him in that, so uh, not much else to touch on. Like I say, in that game, I think the discussion will come later on with the Son and Kane. But Kulusevski definitely want to know. Did they purchased him, hadn't they? They've not just loaned him.
I think he might be on a loan to buy sort of thing. I can't remember now. It's. I think Bentancur was the one they've bought permanently, and I
Right.
think Kulusevski is the one they've got. They've got option to buy in the summer. So
I think,
I'd be amazed if they don't take up that option.
I'd be pretty sure they'd be snapping that up, won't
Yeah.
they? Right, onto a game that cost me 150 quid at weekend. Arsenal versus Brighton. It's probably a bit of karma for me after all the times I've slagged Arsenal off, and I thought this were a game they'd bounce back in after the Crystal Palace result. I've watched Arsenal a good few times over the last few months, and they look a very good side now. I think Arteta's done decent with them. Yeah, but the 2-1 loss to Brighton. Where did that come from, Ben?
Think Arsenal turning into Spurs, didn't they?
They've gone all Spursy.
Yeah, bit of a shocker that. Missing a few key players now, aren't they? Tierney, who's the other chap in
Partey,
midfield?
Thomas
Yeah,
Partey.
Party.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, makes a big difference, doesn't it, Tierney, to that back four. And obviously, Party had really started to come to it into his own. But can that lad stay fit? He just had a really good run of games, and we're thinking, right, he's over his injury, where he's boom, gone.
Tommy Yasu's not been playing for a while as well.
Yeah, no, he's been another good signing this
Yeah.
season, actually. Tommy Asu, he's played well. I think they had Zaka, didn't they?
Yeah,
They had a wing back.
yeah, and Suarez at right back.
Yeah, bit disjointed Arsenal. Obviously, Brighton, decent side. Brighton, I think they're all right.
They only scored 1 goal in the last 7 games before yesterday. They couldn't score against Norwich last week, and then they're going to beat Arsenal away. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's Brighton for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Saka yellow card, 2-pointer for him. Odegaard got a goal, big deflection. He got himself 7 points. Odegaard, not too bad. But yeah, like people like Martinelli, Lacazette, just not doing enough, are they?
I mean,
Definitely
Brighton were winning all the 50-50s. Arsenal looked lethargic. They didn't really turn up. It was a very disappointing performance. I mean, Trossard's was totally unmarked for his goal. The midfield went AWOL. Yeah, very poor from Arsenal. I was surprised. I mean, I can't believe Arsenal got an XG of 2.51. It might suggest they were unlucky, but I watched the game and I don't think they deserved to get anything out of that. Not the way they
No.
played. They left it too late to turn it on. Odegaard hit the crossbar and then scored shortly after, but they left it to the last 15 minutes to sort of turn up, really.
Yeah. Big game from that as well, especially with United losing earlier on. But huge. I think they've been well up for that. Really, really like grab hold of that fourth spot. Obviously with the game in hand.
And they lost against Palace on Monday, didn't they? So
Yeah.
really disappointing.
Sliding. All of a sudden, the Spurs look a decent option for that fourth spot with Conte taking them to Champions League.
Yeah, looks like it's their place now.
Yes, I think Spurs are shoo-in for that fourth spot. United look terrible. Arsenal have totally thrown it away. Yeah.
It'd be a massive thing. If I tell you what, if Spurs can get into that top 4, that could keep Harry Kane at the club,
Yeah.
and it could see Conte giving a little bit of cash, just to tidy a few areas up in that squad, and then they're going on a Champions League campaign next year with Conte at the helm.
Yeah. That could be something, couldn't it?
And you rewind 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. I mean, you're looking at like discontent now. You're thinking, is Conte even going to last the season? So strange football, and it changes so fast, so fast. Any other things to pick out of that game, lads?
I did want to highlight Mwepu. He got the star man, and he had an absolutely brilliant performance. Probably not a dream team asset, unfortunately. But yeah, he had lovely volley from distance and an assist to cap it off. He had a fantastic game.
He's Patson Daka's mate from Red Bull Salzburg.
Is he?
Yeah, they both moved over this season.
Yeah, he looked great.
Maybe one to note. Right. Over to Arsenal's top four rivals, and Burnley's relegation rivals, Everton United. What a game! Big game for both teams at different ends of the table. United obviously needing to win. Everton, Jesus Christ! After a few of their results, Everton probably needed it more. They come out 1-0 winners. I watched this game from the first whistle to the last whistle. Very, very good. They were nervous early on, Everton, understandably, especially after Burnley coming from behind and beating them midweek. That must have been a massive, massive kicking balls for them. But to be fair, when they got that deflected goal from Anthony Gordon, a Scouse lad as well, Everton fan, which is always nice to see. Once they got that goal, they were absolutely unbelievable. Everton, the crowd were up. It were unbelievable to watch. It were brilliant. United, what are United?
Shocking.
They just yeah. So all the superlatives you throw at Everton about closing down and running and just doing the basics of tackling, winning first balls, second balls, just getting in there and just showing all that commitment. United show none of it. Them players they're even not playing for anything. They're not playing for the manager and all that.
Hey, Ronaldo was first to that mobile phone, weren't he, though?
That's the first thing he was too. I mean, he could have very easily have scored an equaliser in the last couple of minutes. There was a snapshot which Pickford did well with. Which Pickford had a good game, very good game. Starman,
Yeah,
well deserved. He can be a bit rash, can't he, Pickford? As we probably know as England fans as well. He can. My kids know him as Angry Pickford. That's how we know him as. But yeah, a great performance, one they needed. I know there are quite a few people in FPL brought Ronaldo in. But backfired, seen as Bruno as an option, and I've seen Bruno in quite a few dream teams as well that have been mooching around. Just painful owning United players.
I think they're untouchable now, aren't they? They've got no European fixtures. They've only got league fixtures, and they look absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
And Maguire can't catch a break, can he? Talking about the deflected goal, it went in off his backside, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But he's still got a 7 rating.
I know.
Honestly, they were pants, United. They were pants. Basaka and Maguire, they do things that algorithm loves. Because Wan-Bissaka, 7.81, they're saying he was the second best player on pitch. and
That's ridiculous.
they were 11. A great example, Alex Iwobi. He were absolutely immense. I'm a big critic of Iwobi. I think he's a very average player, but I wouldn't see him as a player when you're in a relegation dogfight, one that you would probably want on the pitch, if I'm honest. But he ran his bollocks off. He gave everything to that cause, and he's nearly one whole point behind Wan-Bissaka in the ratings because Wan-Bissaka might have tackled a couple of people.
Yeah, crazy that. Fabian Delph had a bloody good game in midfield as well. He didn't last the 90 minutes because he's been out for a long time, but
Yeah,
to come back to have your first appearance and put in a shift like that,
yeah, he were unreal.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
They needed someone like that, didn't they? Because Alan's been out injured, didn't he?
Mm,
He played though, didn't he, Alan? But I saw
yeah,
he was suspended when he Alan's not injured.
they didn't move Allen out of that position though and put Delph in there.
Hmm.
And Delph, yeah, like James said, he had an absolute corker of a game. Man of match, I think he was as well, which was completely deserved. And then when Delph come off, they did drop Allen back in there and put the Corey on.
I
What
thought
about?
Rashford.
Go on.
I was going to say I thought Rashford looked better than he has done in previous games compared to some of the other United players, and he was the one that got hooked.
Yeah,
It's
he
a
looked
bit-
sharp. He did look sharp early doors.
Yeah,
And then he kind of lost his way in the game, but yeah, he did get hooked. I think it took me 30 minutes to even realise Sancho were on pitch. And that's not me taking piss either. I did actually, because I genuinely never seen the lineups. Um, I didn't even know Sancho were on pitch. It took me about 30 minutes until he popped up somewhere.
he did nothing. Yeah,
He was pretty much a ghost. Obviously, Fred went off injured. Pogba come on, did his usual shite, full of attitude and nothing much else.
Yeah, lads, do you watch the Peaky Blinders?
I don't, man. No,
no,
No, come on, bloody hell! Anthony Gordon, he looks like Arthur Shelby.
I'm gonna have to Google Arthur Shelby, aren't
Oh, you gotta Google it. He looks like a young Arthur Shelby. Tommy, I'm off the dragon now.
I?
I'll beat the dragon.
I honestly have no idea whether that's a good impression or not.
You've got
So
to see.
I'm sure everybody else will tell us how good that is.
Can't believe you haven't watched Peaky Blinders.
Arthur Shelby. No, it's one of them. I'll get round to it. I'm always a little bit behind with my series. Arthur Shelby.
well, I should look
Right.
into that. Better. I'm more of a Better Call Saul man. That's coming back soon.
Yeah, I like that as well.
And the actors from Breaking Bad, they're bringing back the guy, the two guys from Breaking Bad are coming back for the last season. Apparently, I read today.
Which two guys?
Well, the Heisenberg
Yeah.
And his sidekick.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Arthur
Um,
Shelby. I mean, if you had about 25 years onto
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon and put a mustache on him,
Yeah.
I reckon you might be there. And I don't know what he sounds like though, so I can't cover that bit. But yeah, massive result for Everton. They needed that after that Burnley defeat. United, yeah, I think they're in top four. Hopes have gone. And to be fair, they don't deserve a top four place after their performances over the season. I don't think. Interested to see what happens with Ronaldo at the end of the season. Anyway, on to one of the bigger games. Well, some could call it the biggest game of the weekend. City versus Liverpool. So here we are with the City and Liverpool game. We'll go straight to you, James, since you're obviously massive Liverpool fan.
Well,
What do you reckon, mate? How did it go for you?
great game for the neutrals. I was I was bricking it all through the game. City were on top in the parts of the first half, although when they scored, they sat back and we equalised. I thought KDB's goal was a bit fortunate. A massive deflection off Matip meant that Allison couldn't get it. That might not be a popular opinion, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, lovely equaliser from Jota with a Trent assist. That was nice. Did you see Edison fucking about with the ball on his own goal line?
Oh God, I thought he'd let it go in. I
Jota,
honestly, genuinely thought he'd let it roll in.
yeah, it was a bit close, wasn't it? It was
It
just so
was close.
nonchalant, and Jota nearly nipped in and had it. But
Yeah,
that I would have enjoyed that, but alas, it didn't happen. Yeah, I thought we played really well in spells. City had some good spells as well. We were much better in the second half than we were in the first. To get that Mane goal early in the second half and the
yeah,
46th minute was
massive.
good. Yeah, huge. Still all to play for. We're only 1 point behind, although Liverpool's run-in is definitely tougher than City's. We've still got to play Spurs. We've got, if you look at the fixtures, ours are. There's definitely more potential banana skins there, I think. But we'll keep fighting.
You've changed the tune.
Have I?
Yeah, a few pods ago, you were like, "Oh, there's only one more hard game left, and it's Man City. The rest are easy." Something like that.
Yeah. Well, when I said that,
Spurs were shit.
Spurs were rubbish.
That's true. Conte looking at getting out of there, weren't he?
Well, they were conceding goals left, right, and centre. They would even though Kane and Son were still getting the odd double act as they have been throughout the season. They look shocking at the back. But since Doherty's come in, and they've got he's settled on Dia, who looks a lot better. Yeah, they've looked a lot better defensively. So I'm now a bit more worried about that game than I was a few weeks ago.
I wouldn't. After watching the amount of chances that Villa created, I would not. Coutinho were unbelievable as well, by the way. I didn't touch on Coutinho. If he's not at a top 6 side next season, I'll be very, very surprised that someone's going to come in and snap him up. Spurs, for example.
Is he a Conte type player though? I don't know.
I don't know, but he can run a game. He
can,
looked as good as what we used to see when he were in a Liverpool shirt. When he were unplayable at times in a Liverpool shirt. He's back to that. He's back to that Coutinho.
He has a lot of time on the ball. He makes it look easy.
He does,
and that's the sign of a top player, definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely. Not to say, obviously Villa have invested a lot of money, and they might well go and buy him and invest even more money and try and push on into Champions League places themselves. Villa, I know they've got big ambitions there, but it wouldn't surprise me if Coutinho ends up at a Spurs or an Arsenal or someone of that ilk. He's definitely playing well. The City-Liverpool game, yeah, great for neutral. It's good to see too. You got two of the best teams in Europe, probably the best two teams in Europe going at it, and it's good to see that they weren't just sitting back. That was always refreshing just to see that they're just going to go basically shot for shot and toe to toe, and I think it was a fair result in the end. Like I say, there were a bit of fortuitous incidents here and there, and the Sterling disallowed goal very close, and a few incidents. But
if anybody was worried that Jota's not the main man for that number 9 role, I think today proved that that's where Klopp sees him playing. But that's not the first time he's started and played 60, 70 minutes and been taken off. We've got options now, but he makes the most of his minutes, does Jota?
Yeah, he does. I mean, he should have made a little bit more as well. And Mo Salah wasn't happy when he didn't. He broke through, didn't he? And there was a simple ball across the Salah for a tap in,
Yeah.
and he dallied, and he lost it. And there were a good tackle, last ditch tackle come in, but he gave him chance for that tackle. That should have been a square ball straight across the Salah, and that's a goal for Liverpool. Absolutely guaranteed. Salah were fuming, absolutely fuming. Obviously, he's one of how many he's a goal scorer. He wants to score, so his first thought was shoot or try to shoot. So he lost in them extra few seconds. A bit frustrating, but what do you see that as, James? How you must have been
Yeah.
screaming at telly.
Yeah, you're
Pass
right.
the fucking ball.
He should have passed it. Yeah, I mean, even Salah, probably one of the most greedy players in the league. He got an assist today for Mane's goal. It's a
Yeah,
shame Jota didn't pass, but there you go.
yeah. Ben, as a complete neutral, because I were following it as a City fan. I'm cheering on City. So, what do you make of it, mate?
Cracking game of football, and obviously I didn't think anyone deserved to win. I thought it was the right result.
Yeah,
Couple of mistakes by a few wing backs, but it was a good game. Sterling should have scored right at the beginning of the game, shouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Alisson pulled off a wonderful save, and
Yeah.
then De Bruyne from the same play scored that deflected goal, didn't he? Yeah. Diaz came off the bench. It's a shame he was on the bench, but you can't argue with the three players that played up front, can you?
No,
Firmino
definitely not.
Firmino came on as well. Yeah, good result. Good result for the Chelsea defence.
Oh, definitely. It couldn't have gone better, could it? After the
Yeah,
suffering from midweek and the weekend.
it's it's just it's like because of the price rises and drops, it just turns your mind, doesn't it? Like you think, I better jump on this Liverpool Man City defence before they get too expensive, because it could go ridiculous now. Like was it Cancelo's about 7.4, is he?
Yeah,
7.7 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going up and up and up. Obviously, most people should have Cancelo by now, but some people don't. So yeah,
yeah. Going on to the ratings. Obviously, only 4 City players reached the 7 rating. Or Cancelo, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, who obviously got an assist but got a yellow card, and Jesus, first start since Christmas, was it?
what a surprise that was.
Yeah, star man as well.
He knows his shit, doesn't he, Guardiola? Scores a goal and gets star man. First start since Christmas.
How close was
Jesus.
that offside decision though for his goal? God,
Yeah, very close. Very,
blimey.
very close. And then we've got 5 Liverpool players hit a 7 rating. Van Dijk, Trent, Mane, Salah and Jota, the front 3 of Liverpool. Nobody else getting up there.
You
Robertson
see,
only got 6.
Yeah, he did.
That's
-2
shocking.
with his yellow card as well.
Yeah.
Mahrez got a better score than Sterling, and he only played like 20 minutes. Got
That's true.
6.27, and Sterling got 6.21.
Yeah, he had a few dribbles, didn't he? And he could have won it at the end, didn't he? And
Yeah, he could have. He could have.
Alisson
I thought he buried it.
And his free
Alisson
kick.
came out far, didn't he? And then he decided to try and chip it.
Yeah, a couple of moments where I thought, oh shit, because I just took out Mahrez. I think in my best side. Where are we now? In my best side, it's had a decent week. It's had 66 points.
Hat trick against Atletico incoming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. We know.
Patrick of penalties.
Chalobah to Trent and Mahrez to Foden.
Oh dear.
Oh God, I know that's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me midweek. I'll be crying that weekend on next pod. But it's one of them.
Foden normally does pretty well against Liverpool. He
Yeah,
didn't have many chances today though.
I think he scored in his last. He scored one, didn't he? And he gave a free kick. He swung one into the corner.
What
He give,
today?
yeah. He gave a free kick. He gave a free kick. He blew, but he did put it in. He did put it in top corner from
Oh right,
outside the
yeah.
penalty area. And I'm thinking, I wonder if VAR are going to go back and check that's actually a free kick. No, they didn't. But yeah, I think he scored in his last 3 appearances against Liverpool. So
Yeah.
one of those big game, massive game. Obviously, as you were afterwards, there's not much change as there apart from obviously next weekend. Same deal, isn't it? Cup final, cup semi final. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, play him again next weekend at Wembley. If any of the fans can actually get there because the trains are cancelled.
Shocking that.
Apparently they put a load of buses on or something, haven't they? So we'll see.
That's right.
Should have
Help
just
them,
played at Old
Ireland.
Trafford, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they should have done.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's a financial decision by the FA not to do it.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be too much common sense, that, Ben. I mean, we know football doesn't have that, does it? Right, on to your boys. Leicester and Palace. Obviously, Leicester still playing in Europe, although it's been a bit crap. The ratings are dodgy in the European St Johnston's Paint Trophy. What is it? Something like
Papa John's.
that. Papa John's, that's the one. But yeah, Leicester, Palace. Obviously, Palace coming off the back of a great result against Arsenal. Leicester making changes, but I reckon, Ben, how did it go? Obviously, a win.
Yeah, cracking result, especially with 4 changes at the back and a few in midfield. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the result. Dewsbury Hall, what a player! What a player! A star man, not even in Dream Team. What a joke! I've been nagging him for months to put him on the game. He's not even on there. I've given him another message tonight. Come on, get him on there. Star man tonight.
You know.
Joke. Goal and assist. He was brilliant.
Yeah,
How much
great
did
goal
you
that
give
was.
me?
Well, Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, straight onto the game, he probably go on at 2.5 million money,
Yeah.
and then obviously as he performed, he plays most games, doesn't he? For Leicester,
Yeah.
he's
He's like
pretty much a mainstay.
he's like our engine in midfield now.
Yeah,
He's just everywhere. It's
he has
brilliant.
cemented his place.
Yeah, you can't get the ball off him.
Dewsbury Hall.
Class. Schmeichel saved 2 penalties. I don't know what happened there. Well, it's Soyuncu encroached the area, so they made Saha take it again, and then he saved it again, but then it bounced back to Saha and he scored a header.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have had a penalty before that though. Madison got pushed over, proper pushed over in the edge of the area near the goal line, but didn't give it. But we were 2-0 up then, so but yeah, it could have been dodgy that with 25 minutes to go. Yeah, Barnes got rested. Iheanacho got rested.
Did Daka go off injured?
No, just give Iheanacho a little run out.
Right.
Yeah, Lookman looked good on the left. Lookman looks better on the left, really, but because Barnes plays on the left, he seems to play on the right when he does play together.
Yeah.
But Barnes has been a bit quiet last few weeks. He's not doing what he usually does, like running at the fullback. He seems to be like just coming back, passing the ball back instead of taking on the fullback. Castagna and Justin made their appearances. Well, Justin started and Castagna come on again just for the last 10 minutes or whatever. They both played all the minutes since they've come back from injury. So you know how we get the points for a clean sheet off the bench. If there's a clean sheet, like Justin and Castagna, they seem to be getting the minutes. They've started most games really, but they're even coming off the bench when they're not being started.
That's a good thing to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
It would be if they were getting clean sheets.
You got a clean sheet on Thursday, mate. We would have got a clean sheet if we went for this dodgy VAR.
That bloody video fucking referee. Showing. I mean, I've not seen it, obviously, because it was today, weren't it? Whilst the 2 o'clock kickoff. So, and obviously, me being a law-abiding citizen, I don't have access to that video stream. But
I only watched it on Sky Sports YouTube channel. Didn't show the actual. I watched it back a few times, but he couldn't really see if he kicked him or not. Jordan Ayew went down. Tillemans apparently fouled him. It looked like a proper dive.
Not surprising. Right, onwards to the Brentford and West Ham game. Another shock, to be fair. Brentford 2-0 winners after following on from their hammering of Chelsea. They've then gone and stuck one up West Ham as well. So fair play to Brentford. Some big performances from them. Ivan Toney and Boomo. Obviously, Christian Eriksen seems to have had a nice input into their upturn of fortunes. Top player. Again, I wonder. It'd be interesting to see where he ends up at the end of the season as well, because I know he's only signed a short-term contract there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting one. So a lot
Conte
of people
wants him, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he
Wants
said
him
a
back
few
at
weeks ago
Spurs.
he'd like him back.
Lovely. That's he probably should have never have left Spurs, to be honest. But he did go on to. Did he win a Serie A title with Inter? So not a bad move for himself. West Ham, obviously Bowen, probably going into a lot of teams, whether it was this weekend or the weekend before. A 5.86 rating for Bowen, who played 90 minutes.
Especially when especially if you've taken him, taken out Mount to put him in.
James, with opening wounds here, aren't we? We're going to go through them 3 transfers. We'll touch on them. But yeah, that's a sore one. It is a sore one. Good performance, Ben.
Yeah. Good result. Mbeumo and Tony playing well together. Goal and assist for each other. And like you say, Eriksen running the show, 7.66. Looks good. But we wouldn't bring any of them in, would you now? No.
No. But obviously West Ham are having the double game weeks. They had obviously Cresswell got red carded, didn't he, midweek?
Yeah.
In the Europa League, when they were 1-0 up. When they weren't 1-0 up at the point, but they went 1-0 up with Bowen afterwards. Finished 1-1. So it'll be interesting to see if they get through this week.
Do you know what happened with the cat kicker? He went off after 29 minutes.
He got injured, didn't he? And Dawson was he played the 90, I think, but he got a kick in the face or something, and he was limping around. It's a bit of a concern with Cresswell banned as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Zumas isn't too serious, but he has been sent off for a CAT scan. Just to make sure everything's all right. And do you know what? I just made that up off the top of my head.
Very good, Tony.
When you said cat kicker, I thought cat scan. Anyway, that would leave him like that, wouldn't it? I mean, Jesus Christ, you want to go away to Leon with three of your back four out.
Mm.
But I'm sure he'll be able to. I don't think Ben Johnson's there, so he can fill in somewhere. Diop, Masuaku. They've got players, haven't they? They've got all right. Declan Rice might drop into centre half. Antonio, we're -1.
Oh,
He had a shocker.
Rewarding his owners.
It was his mistake that led to one of Tony's goals, and Moyes clearly wasn't happy because 2 minutes later he hooked Antonio off, and he would never normally do that.
No.
Antonio would not that early in the game, So yeah, Moisey not happy. I think they've got their minds on the midweek return fixture in Leon, haven't they?
I think so. I think that's what happens, doesn't it?
Of course, they had to play with 10 men for most of the game, so I reckon they're also probably knackered as well.
Yeah, that won't help. That won't help. But yeah, I was to pull from that game. Bowen's failures probably just the main highlight there.
0.22 expected goals from West Ham that's pretty shocking. Very low that.
Against Brentford as well.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, some people are throwing Bowen in there. When you look at the fixtures, so they've got the midweek games, they've got a double game week, and then one of the games against Brentford. So you're thinking, surely they'll do a bit, but it didn't transpire that way.
next week's a single game week for them as well.
Yeah,
they got Burnley, which is a good fixture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Bowen fires back to form for that game. Just a special mention. We've not got the stats up here or anything, but one that doesn't really affect the dream team. But what a massive win for Norwich today!
Wow. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
While men were off watching Leicester game, I was enthralled by a massive performance from Norwich. In particular, ex Rovers centre half Grant Hanley had an absolute blinder of a game. Nice to see, especially after Sean Dyche had a few words about Everton and Frank Lampard, didn't he, midweek after the win?
What did he say? Because I saw somebody on Twitter or something saying after what Dyche said about him, or there was a comment on Sky, and I'm like, I haven't seen any comments. So what did he say? What did Dyche say, Tony?
Right, Dyche said that basically, I'm not sure Everton know how to win a game, lads. You get where I'm fettling. Basically, he had a dig saying Everton don't know how to win a game. And that must. I mean, yeah. And obviously, when it comes to full time, he probably did have a point, but that must ring hard in those Everton players' ears, and it must be. I'll tell you what, some motivation for probably where that performance come from against United. So nice one, Dyche. You did well to fire them Everton players up. So fair play, mate.
Have you been to the Royal Dyche, Tony?
I haven't.
That's not far from you, is it?
It's not somewhere I'd probably feel quite
For anyone who doesn't know that's listening, the Burnley supporters. Well, there's a pub in Burnley. I don't know what it used to be called, but they renamed it the Royal Dyche. We should go. We should book a table there at some point, Tony. Have a nice meal.
When you're up for Stag Do, we'll get over there. We'll all go with blue and white scarves on. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, massive win for Norwich. Not so great of a result for Burnley. It keeps things interesting. I don't think Norwich can survive, can they? No. That's really far-fetched. I mean,
Old Trafford away next week.
What, for Norwich?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then Newcastle.
I mean, so that's an easy 3 points for Norwich. So they might, but you never know. You never know. They might come back into it. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. That there's a good battle going on between 3 or 4 teams down there now. Newcastle have absolutely flown, haven't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely flown. They made 2 or 3 good signings, and they disappeared out of that mix.
I like the look of that new Brazilian midfielder that Newcastle signed.
Mm.
Gomes, is it?
Bruno Gomes.
He
Yeah,
looks quality.
he does. Not quite a dream team asset,
No, unfortunately not.
but I bet he's good in some formats.
Yeah.
Sky probably being one of them.
Yeah, he's not bad in Sky.
I think they're playing him more as more in a defensive role at Newcastle, but clearly he's got a bit more about him than that. He's got some flair and ability to get further forward.
Yeah, he does. He does. Definitely a quality player, good operator. Right. So we've got a few questions from the Patreon that we've posted in the week. So we'll just fire through these few. Connor's been on. Can Son cover Kane? They're inevitable it will come. What do you reckon, James?
Well, I looked at the last 6 game weeks, and Son has scored 68 points to Harry Kane's 45. Obviously, it's slightly skewed by the fact that Sonny got 28 this week, but his scores in the last 6 are 7, 0, 0, 18, 15, and 28. And if you look at Kane's, it's 13, 5, 8, 9, 4, and 6. It looks like Kane is going to be the more consistent scorer. He's going to be involved, as you know, anyone who watches Spurs can see that Kane is involved in nearly every goal. He's playing a lot deeper, playing that quarterback role, doesn't seem to be getting in the box so much. He's just firing long balls to Sonny and Kulusevski to chase. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, is stats wise in the last 6, Kane has outperformed Kane. Son has outperformed Kane, but Kane is going to be more consistent. Is that likely to continue? And is Kane just going to be an assister now, or do we think he'll still get his fair share of goals? What do you think?
Yeah, I went over the last 5, and last 5 goals and assists for Kane is 2 goals and 5 assists. It's obviously because he's dropping into that quarterback role. And Son is 6 goals and 1 assist.
Yeah.
So you kind of see the pattern developing amongst the last 5 games for Spurs, which is they've been quite deadly, and obviously they scored a hell of a lot of goals. One thing I like to always look at, and I know Ben, you always pick up on when someone's an absolute nuisance for your team, and they love to score against a certain team. So when I look at players going forward, I always look at the fixtures coming up, who they're playing against, and whether they've got good records against them. So I've only done it over the last 2 games against each team. But so for the next 5 fixtures for Spurs, in the last 2 games against Brighton, which is the next game for Spurs, Kane scored 3 goals and 0 assists. Son has scored 0 goals, 0 assists. And the last 2 games against Brentford, Kane 0 goals, 0 assists. Son 2 goals and 0 assists. Leicester, who we do know Kane loves the game against Leicester.
Yeah, he does.
He's been pretty brutal against them, but we're only way off the last 2 games just in this. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists, which isn't a bad record, really.
Yeah.
And Son's got 0 goals, 0 assists. Liverpool, last 2 for Kane, he's 1 goal and 0 assist. Son is 1 goal and 0 assist. And last 2 games against Arsenal for Spurs, 0 goals for Kane, 0 assists. He was injured for one of them. He didn't play one of them. And 2 goals for Sonny and 0 assists. So over the next 5 games against the 5 opponents, Kane's had 6 goals, 2 assists. Son's had 5 goals, 0 assists. Make of that what you will. I think Kane, obviously, he does return against a hell of a lot of teams anyway, and he notoriously has. At this moment in time, the way Spurs are playing, he's such a good, he's so good at it. He's so good at dropping off and picking them balls. I think he should have had more points than what he got in that last game, and
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a worry
but
in my eyes, a
that's
little bit.
if he doesn't fit the scoring matrix of Dream Team now, then perhaps we should be looking at taking him out. My concern is whatever they're doing, it's working. So why
Yeah,
would they change it?
yeah, I can't see him changing it.
Yeah, that is a concern. It's one to keep an eye on for sure. Hopefully, he'll bang a couple against Brighton, and the argument will go away, and we can not worry about it. But
There's always the argument you can have both, but obviously when we're playing fixtures, a lot of fixtures, we talk about the lack of Spurs fixtures anyway. To have 2 of them, I mean that'd just be overkill. I'd say one or the other.
yeah,
But what do you reckon, Ben?
Definitely, I'm keeping Kane.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sell Kane to move to Son. I mean, if you've already got Son in your team before this month, I wouldn't have sold Son because of the fixture are decent. But I wouldn't be moving Kane to Son or Son to Kane. You know what I mean? It's not going to keep up this. Like he's had 3-star mans in a row, Son. Uh, like 5, 6 goals in the last 3. So I just think it's just a phase, isn't it?
yeah. There's tie in with Matt Woolley's question. Was also about to ask about Kane. He's in 90 of the top 100 teams doing nothing at the time of writing. And has 2 single game weeks ahead. I think I'll hold, but would any of you transfer him out? We had this last week, didn't we? Questions about King, obviously with his single game week, but the damage you can do in one game,
Yeah.
it probably outweighs. Like I can't, as I've said that on that podcast, I can't say transfer him out ever. I can't do it.
but Spurs are the highest scoring team this year.
Yeah.
They've scored more goals than Liverpool, more goals than Man City. If they keep scoring at that rate, Kane is going to be involved in a lot of those goals.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm keeping him. I'm not getting rid of him just yet. I might get rid of him later in the season because when we get,
Yeah.
it might be worth doing to bring in a player that maybe is going to play in the FA Cup final or the Champions League final or in the latter stages. But I'm not planning to take him out at the moment.
He's got 9-star mans this season, and he's the 3rd highest scoring player in the game. I'm definitely
Yeah.
holding.
Yeah.
He's involved in everything, isn't he? He's involved with everything.
I wouldn't talk anybody out of Sonny,
No,
but would I get rid of Kane? Definitely not.
no.
Would I hold both of them? No. Even as prolific as Spurs has been, I wouldn't, because there's other options with more games. Salah, Jota, even Havertz if Chelsea get through in the Champions League. Yeah, great question though. It's a great debate, and it will come up all the time, especially when if Sonny keeps banging him in like he is, and like James says, Kane will be involved in most of them goals, and he takes penalties if he can get a few.
Right. Well, if you had both of them in a team, which one would you take out?
Oh,
Oh,
when you sat there with Kane, who's just scored you 6, and Son 28.
3 shots he had, and he scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Prolific.
I'd take out Son because I'm committed to Kane. Like you say, he's the 3rd highest point scorer in the game. and he does it year on, year out. He doesn't let you down, does he? Like, consistency.
So another way of looking at it is points per million. So in the
Yeah,
last six, Sonny's points per million are 34.55 and Kane's is 31.69. So you could there's an argument to be had that you could use that money elsewhere in your team because obviously Sonny's a lot cheaper. So just to play devil's advocate, there is it's not cut and dried this call. If I suppose if you were chasing and you wanted some funds to bring in an expensive Liverpool defender or City defender, it might be worth considering.
yeah.
But I'm not going to do it.
2.2 million. 2.2 million more he is, Kane.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, that is.
It is a lot of money.
He come back and bite you on the arse, I tell you.
He will, massively.
It's because he scored a hat trick this week. It's like skewed the points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did actually do the last 5 game weeks and take off this one just to see how much it was skewed, and Sonny was still ahead. But yeah, you're right. 28-point haul is definitely going to skew the figures.
Definitely. One for you.
Differential.
Well, yeah, he is a differential. He is. Yeah, Matt Woolley sat top of the dream team. The whole thing, number 1.
Yeah.
Big decision that, but yeah, hold Kane. Hold Kane for me.
Yeah, definitely in your position.
At the other end of the spectrum, we got Lee Hooper, who's having a good week. I know he's having a good week in the Patreon Cup this week that he's playing by. So absolutely typical. I don't know anybody with worse luck. I'm not too sure. But anyway, Lee Hooper's been on something slightly different from him. How much do you think these three will cost in Dream Team next year? Trent, Cancelo, and James. Now, I was doing some digging around. I was going back through all our old pods. I'm trying to find the initial figures from this season, so then we have something to go off. I could only find Trent's because Trent was in. Oh, have you got all three?
I've got them. I've got the starting price. Do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cancelo, James, and Virgil van Dijk. I thought I'd throw him in there as well. They all started at 5 million. And can you believe this? Trent started at 4.5.
Yeah.
So that was the starting prices. So the question is, what do we think is going to happen next year? I personally think they'll probably only go up 500,000.
Yeah.
Only because Dream Team is different. They like you to be able to have your dream team. The players you like. I will say this year has been different to previous years that I've played Dream Team. They have made a bit more of an effort to make it harder with the prices. So they might continue in that vein, but I'm only expecting 500,000 rise for defenders. Otherwise, it'd be just a ridiculous price, wouldn't they? We'll see. What do you think, Ben?
I reckon that Trent and Cancelo will be 6 million next year.
Okay.
Yeah. And James will be 5 million. Probably if James played the whole season without getting injured, he might have been in a similar bracket, but I think he'll be 5 million.
You might be right there.
Tony?
Yeah, I think the same. I think they're going to make Trent and Cancelo premium. And I think they would have been the same for James if he, like I said, had completed the season, because he'd have been posting some massive scores as well. I think it's consistency in it that Trent and Cancelo. You could possibly say VVD as well. He might creep up there depending on what he finishes on. But Trent and Cancelo are just absolute. It's just they're point pits, aren't they? They score points every year. So I think they will be penalised for it, or we will be penalised for that. and they probably make it a little bit more difficult to be able to fit them and your other players in. A little bit like what they did with De Bruyne, Fernandez. When they start putting them at premium prices to fit them all in, you start to struggle. And I think they'll do that the same with the defensive players as well.
Fernandez should be significantly cheaper next year, I imagine.
Yeah, probably be able to get him, snap him up at 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Ronaldo at 3.5. And jobs are good. Yeah, we all like a price rise. Hopefully, we get some nice early news on the price rises this year, and we get to get that out to our listeners and stuff. We have had a little bit of early information, obviously, for next year. That obviously with the World Cup we've got in November, December, is it?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be the same five transfers per month. But then after the World Cup has ended, I think we have like a mini wild card. So I think we have a section where we can refresh our teams, obviously depending on what goes on in the World Cup. That's not fully confirmed, but that's something that I'm hearing on the grapevine. So it's one to keep an eye on, and it was something a little bit different going into Christmas. I'm not the biggest fan of overhauls or wild cards per se, because I think it can make it a little bit more template.
Yeah.
Because at that time of writing, everyone gets to put in the players that they fancy, or everyone fancies at that time. I think it can kind of narrow the game down from the differentials and stuff. But one of them. So it's something we'll have to navigate.
That's what seems to happen in the Sky game, isn't it? Everyone seems to pick the same players and overhaul. And there's no price rises in Sky, so it might work out okay in Dream Team, because if people ain't got the value in the teams, they won't be able to afford the best team.
Yeah, whereas like you say in Sky, it's a little bit different because everyone's got the same value.
Yeah.
So everybody can put the same team in, kind of thing. But yeah, well, obviously it's a little bit different for us. It's not happened before, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Hopefully it runs smoothly if they do it. It's managed well. But Andy Boyne at the Patrons League that started in January is entering its final 6 weeks. If you had to make a guess, then which teams do you think will occupy the top 3 positions at the end of the season? I'll crack off first with this, because I think that the top 3 that are in there now will be the top 3. I've had a quick look at the top 5 or 6 teams. Ben, I mean, notorious. I mean, we'll see a little bit later on in the other league. Notorious for coming from the back.
A bit like that horse in the Grand National, eh?
A bit late on. He loves it. Always makes a mad rush. So, yeah, them top 3 for me. Who do you reckon, James?
Well, I was going to say the top 2, which is Paul McNally and Ben, and of course me as well.
Brilliant. Love it. What do you reckon, Ben?
Well, I was looking, and there's a bit of a cut-off from 11th place. I think the top 11 still got a chance, lads. But yeah, maybe top 8. Top 8, I think, still got a chance. Yeah, top 8.
Yeah.
Loads of points to go.
Yeah. You get them t-shirts sorted and pens and all the gizmos. Let's get them Trophy sorted, yeah. God, it's going to be like bloody Royal Mail sorting office here. Let's send everything out. Right. Last question, one for you, Ben. Solely for you, to be fair, because DT Patrick, I need a cheap defender to replace Cash. Probably a good question for Ben in particular, but how do you think James Justin is looking since coming back? He's only 1.7 million at the time of writing. I think I quizzed you on this the other day about James Justin. So, yeah, obviously your best man's answer that, mate.
Yeah, James Justin, since coming back from injury, he's been involved in every game. So if there's clean sheets, even off the bench, he'll get points. but he started 5 out of the last 7. So yeah, he's looking all right. For 1.7 million, you can't grumble whatever points he gets. Really,
Yeah.
if it enables you 10 of the best players in the game, it's good. But you could, instead of just using that 1.7 million, you could try using 2 transfers and sharing the funds out. Say, for example, someone who's not playing enough, like Mahrez, if he doesn't start again next week, you could use his money with the 1.7 million and get 2 good players in.
Yeah. Good shout. Like I say, he's been involved in every game at 1.7 million.
Mm.
And if Leicester do sneak a few clean sheets, as long as they don't get a tubbing like that, the Southampton backline, then you're not too harsh, are you? It's at 1.7 million.
Yeah,
Good option.
he's averaging 2 points a game, so it's for the last 5 games. It's not too bad.
I prefer, if possible, to have a cheapy midfielder, only because I've been burnt in the past with the likes of Bertrand or the cheap defenders. If they start getting battered, then you get negative points.
Yeah,
So I mean, if you can stretch to a Kulusevski, I know he's gone up a bit, 2.8 million, but he's still pretty cheap. If you can stretch to someone like that, I prefer that would be my preference to a really cheap defender. Although if you're going to go down that route, then I think James Justin's a good one. Has he got much attacking potential, Ben?
he hasn't got many assists this year. I think he's got 2 assists. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a very attacking. And plus, you got Ricardo coming back as well. So they seem to be rotating. But like I said, if you get a clean sheet, then he'll come on anyway. He's playing in all the games.
Yeah.
Like he played today, but he got rested against PSV. They played Ricardo, but Ricardo can't play 2 games in a week. So Justin will play 1 game and he'll come off the bench on the other one.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, decent option at that money. Especially with Leicester, they've got a lot of fixtures to come as well. So, decent fixture count. But yeah. Right. Onwards to the Mini League Top 10. The Dream Team Tonic Cash League. Who's reading this one out?
I'll do it, Tony. Since I've
Sure,
spectacularly dropped out of it after a horrific week. Well, it's a week so far, I shall say.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, so in joint 10th, we've got
Go.
Niles Koopman and Anthony Sutcliffe.
Hey!
In 9th, dropped a few places. We've got Andrew Ferguson. In 8th, Michael White. In 7th, Alex Cole. 6th, Kerry Jones. 5th, Ben Lee.
Come on!
4th, Heath Robson. 3rd, Dan Sherwood. 2nd, Steve Legg. And at the top, still there, Alex Cole.
Bloody course, innit? Not Alex Cole. From 4th down. It's quite a course. I dropped all the way down to 15th at one point. I think it was.
I think I'm down in 15th now after an absolute shocker, but
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Hey, fighting talk. I like it, James.
Hey, I'm in with a shout now.
I'll be back.
Hey, Ben's creeping up. Like I say, you like that? You like to say, you got one of them horses that just sits at back, waits, the tortoise in the air and all that crap. Yeah, flying at end. Right, the Patron League. I've not. I've never even got anywhere near the top 10 in this. I put my pod team in to start the league, and then I didn't want to put my podcast team in. I wanted to put my top team in, but I didn't change it in time. And I've ended up with a podcast team, and I can't seem to get it anywhere near. I think I'm about 13th. So I'm not that far off. It doesn't sound, but anyway, that's why I read this out every week. So yeah, this is my job. There's ET Tonic Patreon League in 10th. Sean Siddall and the Ball Bags. We got in 9th Sam Course, Coldstone Cadets. In 8th Andrew Barnett, the 1 DT Hero. In 7th James Fricker, Dream Team Tonic Podcast. In 6th Michael White with Fred West Ham 3. Connor in 5th Connor Tobin, Flying Without Ings. In 4th Stephen Broughton with Steve B. Army. In 3rd, David Dunkley with David Moyes' shriveled ball bag. And joint top is What the Deuce Paul McNally and Dream Team Tonic Ben Lee.
Come on, back on
Joint
the top.
Look at that. What do we do with T-shirt if there's 2 winners? Do we send them half each?
Yeah, cut it down the middle like Blackburn.
Yeah, half and half. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. See the finishing places there.
I still want my coffee mug.
Oh, do you know what? It's still under my fish tank in cupboard. It's still there. I actually pulled them out the other day. I looked at them with addresses on them. I'm like, fucking hell. What's that? A year and a half, is it?
Yeah, I'll pick it up when I see you this summer.
Oh yeah, oh brilliant.
I've been gagging for a coffee for a year and a half.
But yeah, we'll get them sent out.
Typical
Obviously,
Northerner, too tight to pay for postage.
hey, I'll come down in the horse and cart. I'll deliver it. Be cheaper, won't it? Right. It's been emotional. It's been a fun. Obviously, a little bit different this time, running through the games, but we'll see how that goes down with the 1,000 listeners. Hopefully, everyone's enjoyed it. Back to normal next week. Obviously, question tweet will be sent out. Keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, as well, if you've got some questions during this week, you can always just drop us a message on at Dream Team Tonic on Twitter. We'll get back in touch with you anyway, as we do. But yeah, it's been our pleasure. Anyone who's interested in more content, especially going to next season, if you want to start your Dream Team Tonic season, your Dream Team season off with a bang, get across to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. You get yourself a lot of content in the run up to the new season as well as the back end of this season. Give yourself a bit of a head start amongst everybody. So cheers, James. Cheers, Ben. Thanks for your company this evening.
Cheers, Tony.
Anything to add?
I was just going to say, get yourself on a Discord with all the other lads.
Yeah, it's good crack, and some good
crack
information.
on there.
Some great information going about. If you're trying to win a mini league, it'd be a good place to be. Bounce your ideas around. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and we will speak to you next week. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Ta-ra.
Bye.